Hello, my name is Leanne Kruger, and I am going to take you on a toboggan ride through Canadian Records A. There are 3 sessions, each taking different areas of Canada. This session is for the eastern area. This is a little bit about me, and on the right are the 3 associations that I volunteer with. The objectives for this session is to do Canadian records that deal with, and websites that deal with all of Canada records, and Eastern Canada specifically, the Atlantic provinces. We'll also talk a little bit about geography, some history, and some Canadian culture. So to start off with, we're going to talk about toboggans and sleighs and what the difference is between them. A toboggan is right against the snow. You're sitting with just a piece of wood in between you and the snow and the hill. A sleigh has these runners. They're illustrated in red in there. You've probably heard of a dog sled, very famous. If you look at it, you'll notice that it's more of a toboggan than it is, depending on the type. But most of them look very similar to the picture at the bottom. I'm going to use the dog sled to illustrate where we are in Canada geography-wise as we go through each one. The first thing I like to talk to you about is some terminology. This is a Chesterfield. Most of the newer generation, younger generation, call it a sofa or a couch because we become very Americanized. But in Canada, that's a Chesterfield. All right, next, let's learn a little bit about geography. The St. Lawrence River was essential as the development of Canada was being done in the early years. They came up the St. Lawrence River and settled along it. And that was a great way to transport and go back to Europe. So when you're talking about a river, and you're talking about up and down, then an upriver, here's the definition of an upriver, talks about where the source for the river is. And downriver is where it meets basically the ocean or the bigger area, the bigger water, in this case, the Atlantic. Now, why is that essential? Well, we as Canadians get teased a little bit about this next area. When Canada was being developed, there were 2 areas. They were named Upper and Lower Canada. Now, as you can see on the map there, Lower Canada is up north and Upper Canada is down south. And you're going, no, 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 no. Everybody knows that on a map, north is up and south is down or lower, but not in reference to the St. Lawrence River. So this area up at the top is called Lower Canada, and there is the map for it, and its capital was Quebec City. Upper Canada, down by the Great Lakes, was York was the capital, or what became Toronto, and Niagara as well was a capital. So that's the Southern Ontario area, was called Upper Canada. So yeah, we get a bad time for not knowing our ups and downs and norths and souths. Then we had the Province of Canada, or United Province of Canada, or United Canadas. We were a British colony, and this was from 1841 to 1867. During those years, the capital changed 6 times. Queen Victoria finally said, no, this is it. Ottawa is going to be the capital, and that's where Parliament was set up. Ottawa is still the capital, and the Parliament buildings are still in basically the same area they were back then originally. Now, when you're talking of next, after Lower and Upper, and they decided to fix that, they went Canada East and Canada West. And it was, in some records, you'll see Canada West. Now, I live in Western Canada, and Ontario is not Canada West. But in the time, it was. It was west of what we know of Quebec, or what was called Canada East. So, and then, as you can see, they became Quebec and Ontario. So it's important that you understand that if you see Canada West, it's not talking about the western provinces. They weren't around at this time. So here's the Dominion of Canada that started in the 1st of July, 1867, with 4 provinces. Ottawa remained the capital. Now you'll notice that I have the word France there with an arrow. Yes, there's an island just off the coast of Canada that is still part of France. If you're going to do research in Canada, the most essential website, first place to start, is the Library and Archives Canada. Its resources are immense. One of the things is about abbreviations. So if you see in a document an abbreviation, this is a great place to look. For instance, Alberta. It has multiple abbreviations. ALTA, AB is now the 2 letters, just like all states and provinces within the United States and Canada. But we've had ALB as well, as you can see there. And so that's going to occur in all provinces and in multiple areas. So great place to check out. Here's a list of other items that are available on the Library and Archives Canada website. Of course, essential is census records. Well, and there's the list. We follow the British census dates, as in we do it on the 1, not on the 0. Also notice that the prairie provinces have a couple extra ones. Now they're minimal, but they are, of course, would help if you have family out in the west. Also at the Library and Archives are places, maps, photos, art, books, newspapers. You can also just type in your ancestor's name and see what is available. Let's go back to culture a little bit. If you think of Canada, I hope, all Canadians hope you think of hockey, because we love hockey. That's only our winter sport, though. We have lacrosse as our summer sport. I don't know how that came about. The man who created basketball was Canadian, so you'd think that would be our summer sport. No. The only thing I can think of is lacrosse sticks in this diagram kind of look like hockey sticks, so that's why we like it. I don't know. We love it so much that towns and cities will put up public hockey rinks and skating rinks for free for anybody in the area, whoever wants to come and play hockey or to skate. And it's a full-size rink. This is my neighborhood. You can see this is how they design there. The sides of the skating rink looks just like a hockey rink. And then beside it, over on the left is the ice rink, the hockey rink, and then here is the just skating if you just want to have fun and learn how to skate or to practice to skate. So it is also a full-size rink. It just doesn't have the sides because you're just skating. You're not trying to get the puck. And they both have nets, and the hockey rink has nets. It's all ready for everybody to play and available for free, which has been wonderful this year. All right, again, if we're talking about all of Canada, then FamilySearch is a great place to go to. This is the link to the Canadian genealogy. It has a page individually for Canada as well as all provinces and territories. Here's the Canadian site, and it lists what's available there on the right, as long as it's in blue, so we're missing colonial records. All right, and then if you click on a province or search for a province, then you can see the records that are available for each of this. This is Alberta. Anything in red means we don't have anything on FamilySearch. The Alberta Genealogical Society does help out with this, and I see we have some work to do. All right, let's talk about the first province we're going to explore is Newfoundland and Labrador. It's the farthest east, so our dog sled is way over on the right. It joined in 1949. It's not that long ago. St. John's is the capital, and there is the flag. One great site to find things for Newfoundland is genealogysearch.org. That's what's available for Newfoundland. And as you can see over here on the right, there's a menu. And the menu actually lists each of the provinces. So not only does it do Newfoundland, but it also does all the provinces and territories, as well as all of Canada. So a great resource. Specifically for Newfoundland are these two websites. The Grand Banks has family Bibles. I think that's really cool. Fishing rooms, interesting. It talks about disasters in the area and community name changes. That's really cool. They have a message board and a Facebook. The other one is the Family History Society of Newfoundland and Labrador, and you can see the different resources listed there that they have. Another item is Memorial University Library. It's a center. And Acadian.org. If you have Acadian family that went down to Louisiana and became Cajun, this is the site. It has some great information on those families that consider themselves Acadian, whether they went south or not. I love this Rooms Provincial Archives. I just think that's a really cool name for their provincial archives. And then there's the Provincial Archives of Newfoundland and Labrador as well available. Now, I grew up in Ontario, and when we talked about Newfoundlanders, we called them Newfies. Now, Newfoundlanders is a nice name. Newfies is so cute. They're the only province that can have a cute name. Nobody else does. I always referred to it as an endearment. I was not being rude. Sometimes I'm sure people were. One of the things I remember growing up, and still happens, is if they're identifying on TV or on the radio when a show is going to occur, it was 8 o'clock Atlantic, 4 o'clock Pacific, and 8:30 in Newfoundland and Labrador. And I just used to laugh. But you can see on the map that they're just a little farther east, and they liked having the extra half hour for things. So it was just a fun way. On another website that has Canadian records is Ancestry. And this is the website that will list for you directly all the records and databases that Ancestry has for Canada. Great resource as well. So we talked about Newfoundland and Labrador, which is part of what we consider the Atlantic provinces. The Maritimes is more considered these three provinces: Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and PEI, Prince Edward Island. And I love the homes and the colors of what they have and in the maritime area. One of the significant population of the Maritimes was the Loyalists. During the American Revolution, a lot of people who wanted to stay with Britain, who did not want to rebel, came to Canada because it was part of Britain. 30,000 of them. And this site, Library and Archives Canada, has a great database that will help you find an ancestor, whether they returned to the United States, stayed in Canada, or went back to Britain. There will be some information about them. So again, Atlantic Canada is considered the maritime provinces plus Newfoundland and Labrador. So Nova Scotia joined on Confederation Day, 1st of July, 1867, and Halifax is its capital. It has a genealogical association, which is really cool. This site, if you can guarantee and verify that you are a descendant of someone who lived in Nova Scotia before 1867, they have a certificate You have to prove it. I mean, I guess nothing's certain, but if you can prove your lineage to that person, then they will send you a certificate. That was kind of cool. And we also have the vital statistics area. One of the famous things about Nova Scotia is the Blue Nose and the Blue Nose 2, and that's the ship. The name of the ship, it's so famous, it's actually on our dime. So if you want to learn about the Blue Nose sailing ship, do some research, but that's part of Nova Scotia's history. The next one is Prince Edward Island, or PEI. It started in 1873. It did the July 1st, but not till 1873. And Charlottetown is its capital. You are probably familiar with PEI because of Anne of Green Gables, the books written by Lucy Maud Montgomery. Now, the Genealogical Society here has a great website. It has publications, cemeteries, ooh, we like those transcripts, and census records. There's also the public archives, and it also has some tips on how to research within PEI. Now, the Island Register, I think you just need to check out. We all need to check it out, because not only does it have history and a museum and all that, but it has party line stories of what happened during party line. So a party line used to be that not every house had their own phone number. So you would phone and you might get one of different houses. And if somebody else was talking to somebody and you picked up the phone, then you could listen in to another house's phone conversation, and there's some juicy stories obviously about it. New Brunswick did start on July 1st, 1867, part of the Four, Fredericton, and it is the only bilingual province. Quebec is French. It is not French and English. New Brunswick is the only official one that uses both. And so a lot of the records, some of the records will be in French and some in English, but you can do it. New Brunswick has a genealogical society. There's the website and what's available on that website. Some great resources. Love the cemetery records. Those really help. Now, this site is not Canadian. This is American, up in the New England area, which is really close to Canada, and without the border, people were going back and forth. It has a French-Canadian genealogy guide and some other great resources, maps, and a blog. And that's the link to their blog that will also help you as you're researching in Eastern Canada. Another great one is the Canadian Newspaper Archives. Notice no Quebec, PEI, or the territories in the newspaper. Tim Hortons is a great company that was started by a hockey player and has donuts. Those are called Timbits inside there, and that's my white hot chocolate. If you have any questions, please email me or check out my blog.